Does Stranger Things like girls? Listen, I say this because in the episode 7, season 5, we get, spoiler alert, we get Will's big emotional scene where he comes out and he doesn't say the words, I'm gay. What he says is, I'm like you guys in every way, except I don't like girls. And then he immediately backtracks and says, well, I do like girls, of course. I just don't like them in the way you do. And I thought, like, this really hit me because watching Stranger Things, one of the things that has been really important, or the thing that I've really resonated with me, is the female representation and the female characters. I grew up in the 80s. All of these shows there representing, whether it's It or Stand By Me, those are great movies. Those are great books. I read all the Stephen King stuff, but usually our representation of women or girls was very limited. It was usually about a group of boys in that era, Goonies, things like that, and then there might be one or two girls in the group, and often they kind of were representative of two things. They were like the cheerleader, or like the girl who, like the popular cheerleader who like one of the guys had a crush on, or they would be like the tomboy, one of the boys, someone who got along because she was a tomboy. So we see Stranger Things come in, and that first kind of pilot episode, I recognized what was going on. This is another show, a nostalgic show set in the 80s. It's going to show us a group of boys who are really close and coming of age, and we're going to see everything through their, lens. And what was interesting is that the Duffer Brothers then introduced all of these female characters, the superhero being Elle, having these magnificent, skills. Nancy Wheeler being seen as sort of like maybe this one-dimensional character who wanted to be popular, wasn't quite a cheerleader, but she was, breaking away from her more serious, nerdy friend, and then seeing this character growth for her. She doesn't pick Steve. She goes with Jonathan, the artsy one. And then we have this introduction of Max and Robin in later episodes, later seasons. And Max comes in as that stereotypical tomboy. Like, she can play video games. She can ride a skateboard. And, in general, like, she would have been the character that would have been, in those movies and shows. And she even has the red hair, like usually those characters have. I don't know why they do. And then we have Robin come in, and she comes in and she has this different energy. She's a lesbian. She's Steve's best friend. She really becomes, an important part of this group. And this isn't even taken into account to the fact that Joyce has always been like the voice of reason, talking them through their emotional ups and downs. She really is the mama bear mother figure. And then Karen Wheeler, maybe being Karen Wheeler being in the background for most of the seasons, but then this year coming on as a strong mama bear, willing to fight ferociously because her child is taken. And Holly comes on, and she's, even though they've aged her up quite a bit, she's really a good actress, and she's showing like the strength of character, even though she considers herself a coward. She's off on this adventure. She is Alice in Wonderland, right? And again, we're going back even further than the 80s to when girls were central figures in literature, like Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz. So they have always been central figures, but I think we got kind of lost in the 80s and 90s when a lot of it was focused on this group of boys, on the nostalgia told from a man's point of view coming of age. So I do think the Duffer Brothers do like girls. They like playing with girls. Girls have a lot to offer. I always joke that when you talk to any adult woman, she will always, when she looks back, she'll always say like, and I've heard this from like supermodels on podcasts, like, I was a tomboy. I wasn't like the other girls. I was a tomboy because I like to ride bikes and climb trees and hang with the boys. And I feel like maybe more of us are Maxes in the world than you think, or maybe we're put into these boxes. You have to be a cheerleader or a tomboy. I was a cheerleader. Went to Catholic school, and I like to cheer because I like to do gymnastics. I cheered for a basketball team, and I also like to climb trees with my brothers and ride bikes and go on adventures and get lost in the woods. So I think these represent the true nature of girls. We are tough, we are resilient, we are smart, we are funny, all of those things. So I thank the Duffer Brothers for doing this. I think it's really important for the girls of this generation to see better representation than maybe we saw in the 80s. We got to see that one girl, and she sort of often was representative of like something that was unattainable or super special or whatever. She wasn't just an ordinary girl with her own issues. She often was there for the boy to grow, for the boy to learn lessons. And these women have their own story arcs. These girls have their own story arcs. It's amazing. It's great. I love it. I love this piece of it. I love that Stranger Things likes girls. And the one other thing I was going to say is, somebody mentioned today, like, it's too bad they're not using any Pat Benatar music in Stranger Things. And it brought me back to The Legend of Billie Jean. Not the greatest movie, but it was representation of this female hero. And we didn't get a lot of that in the 80s. And I was just joking on social media saying, like, imagine to, like, really bring Nancy Wheeler's arc full circle if she, like, shaved her head or cut her hair into a mohawk while she's toting that gun and shooting the military, and they played Pat Benatar's Invincible. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be really some fan service for the girls, because we had very little of those role models in our 80s movies, and that would really be a great callback for us.